everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for My Favorite Things. Thanks for joining me today. On this month's edition of Sparkle and Shine, we are going to be creating an adorable mermaid shaker card, and I'm going to be using some alcohol inks to create those really cool water pool effects on that shaker background. So I wanted to show you the tools I'm going to be using. I have my Tonic Easy Clean mat. I also have some Ranger alcohol ink Yupo paper. I have the alcohol blending solution. You could also use rubbing alcohol. I just have this on hand and it's convenient. And then I have several colors of blue alcohol inks, including some that are the pearl alcohol inks, and that gives you just kind of a pearlescent shine. Now, I cannot alcohol ink without some gloves, so I have those on hand. And this little, this is a marker blower thingy. I'll look up the proper name for it, but for now it's going to be the marker blower thing. You could also use a straw for this, but I'm just going to be using that to move the alcohol ink around on the paper once I put it down, and you'll see that in action here. With the pearl alcohol inks, you want to make sure that you shake them really well, and I'm going to glove up here because I do not want to ruin my manicure. And the quickest way to ruin a manicure, by the way, is to get some alcohol ink on your fingers. So just keep that in mind. You'll want to protect your hands if you care about the way your nails look. So I'm starting out with some Yupo paper and a couple of these blue tones. I did find that the ones I used the most were Tranquil, which is a pearl alcohol ink, Mermaid, and Turquoise. That's the colors that I ended up with on my final project here. And you can see I'm just adding these onto the Yupo paper and then blowing it around with my little marker blower tool thingy. Now, you can use a straw and just blow with your mouth to move this ink around, so you don't need this. I just had this on hand, and so I thought I'd use it. Why not, right? So you're going to see me just continue to add colors and kind of work the color around. And of course, I've already made a mess. And you can almost guarantee that anytime I'm working with alcohol inks, there's going to be a mess. So that's why I make sure that I wear gloves. I don't even know how I got that ink all over myself, but I did. So that Yupo paper was just dry Yupo paper when I started. This time I'm adding some alcohol ink blending solution to the Yupo paper before I even add my colors. And you're going to see instantly my colors are going to move more. They're going to have a more watercolory look. And I'm just going to continue to move these around, blow them around, add more color until I like the results that I'm getting. Now, in a moment here, we're going to take our alcohol ink background and we're going to add some foiling to it as well. So I am allowing some areas to kind of pull up at the edge, kind of make some harsh lines. Those are the areas where the foil is most likely to stick. And I can go in, add more blending solution, add more colors to keep moving these inks around on the Yupo paper until I'm satisfied with the result. And even after these have dried completely, you can go back and reactivate the alcohol ink by adding more color or more blending solution. Now here's where we're going to add the foil. I'm just going to take and I'm going to press the foil onto the areas where that ink has kind of pulled up and made these harsh edges. You'll notice that as these dry, they kind of look a little bit shiny and they tend to be a little sticky. So we're going to take advantage of that stickiness and we're going to use some transfer foil. This is the ThermoWeb foil here, and we're just going to press it to those areas and allow that foil to stick to that sticky alcohol ink. Now, I did find it was really hot today when I was creating these, and this alcohol ink dried really fast. So depending on your climate, that's going to change the amount of dry time that you need for these alcohol inks. But in general, alcohol inks are a fast drying ink. The alcohol evaporates much more quickly than water would, and so you're going to have less drying time with an alcohol ink than you would have with like watercolors or something like that. So just kind of keep an eye on it, and then you can go back and add a little bit of foil to those areas where it's a little bit sticky and the ink has pooled up. And here's a look at that finished little panel here. Now I'm also going to do it on this piece, but I found that once again, this had dried so quickly that really all those sticky areas had dried super fast. I think it was like 104 on the day that I was creating these. I live in Central California and we get some serious heat, and it's very dry heat. So these had dried very quickly, and this was not picking up the foil. So what I did was I just reactivated some of those areas with some more of the blending solution, kind of blew it around to create those harsh edges once again. And then, I mean, I'm talking just like a minute later, I went in with my foil and just pressed it to those areas. And then I was able to add foil to these that had dried too much. So if you have a piece that is already dry and it's too dry to pick up the foil, you can reactivate with the blending solution and then add your foil more quickly the next time. So that's exactly what I did here. I had to reactivate and then press my foil onto that. Now earlier you saw me with a alcohol swab. I had gotten a dot of ink onto the side of my panel and I didn't like that blob there. So I just kind of wiped away most of that with the alcohol swab. So if you get some ink in an area that you don't like, you can try to kind of erase that with an alcohol swab, one that you would use to clean your finger before you test your blood or something like that. And they're readily available in the drugstore. Those are also great for cleaning acrylic blocks. I know that some people say they've had some crazing with that. I've never had an issue with that, so you may want to test it on your particular acrylic block before you do that. So now that I have my backgrounds ready, I am going to take this Mermaid for Each Other stamp set. It's so adorable, and I'm also going to be stamping this little gal from the Drink Up the Sunshine stamp set by Bertie Brown. Love these two stamp sets. They are so cute. And I'm going to stamp both of these little girls at the same time using some Copic friendly ink onto some Neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock. So I'm just inking up my stamps here. I don't actually use the little girl from Drink Up the Sunshine on this particular card. I'm using the Mermaid, but I'm creating another card for my blog at the same time. So I just decided to stamp everything at one time. So I'm going to re-ink these stamps because I wanted to get a nice dark black line on these stamped images. And I'm going to re-stamp in the same spot. This Mini Misty is great for double stamping. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to color my little mermaid on her inner tube with some colored pencils. And I'm using the Caran d'Ache. I don't know how to say it. I believe it's Caran d'Ache luminance pencils. You know what, you guys, I didn't take French in high school. I took Spanish. So if you give me a Spanish word, I can pronounce it. French, not so much. But anyway, I said all that to say I just colored my little girl with some really fancy colored pencils. And you could use whatever coloring medium you want. And once I have her colored, I'm going to take the coordinating die. I'm going to hold it in place with some purple tape and run that through my die cut machine. And there she is, my adorable little mermaid. And you know, when I just said Little Mermaid, you totally want to sing Part of Your World right now. Or do you want to sing Under the Sea? Which one? You can leave it in the comments below. Which one? Or Kiss the Girl. I don't know. They're all so good. That was a really good movie. Okay, so let's move on. I have my card front panel here. This is Neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm taking my swimming pool die and die cutting a shaker window out of the front of this card panel. Then I'm going to take the coordinating swimming pool shaker pouches and I'm going to slip this shaker pouch right into that window that I created. Now my panel here had a lot of white edges, and this would be really cool if you were going to just adhere the die cut onto this area to make it look like the pool background. But since I wanted it to fit in that shaker window, I'm going to actually just take my alcohol ink applicator tool. I added some blending solution and a little bit of that turquoise ink, and I'm just dabbing around the edges. I don't want to reactivate the area that I already have dry with the foil on it. If I get more alcohol ink on top of the foil, the foil is going to take on the color of the alcohol ink. So I'm just gently tapping around that area that I already have to kind of fill in some of that white area so that my shaker window doesn't have any white showing through. And this worked really well, but like I said, you do want to be careful around those foiled areas, which is why I'm going really slow. And I did dilute my ink quite a bit with the alcohol ink blending solution to give it a more watercolory effect. So now it's time to adhere all this together. I adhered my shaker pouch into my window there, And I did that with a little bit of Be Creative tape. And now I'm taking some liquid glue and putting it around this area. I'm going to fill that shaker window with some various shaker guts, some shiny things. And then I'm going to put my alcohol inked panel onto the back of that so it will show through the window. Now, I used liquid glue here. Don't do that. I should have used the Be Creative tape, and I was trying to make things fast. I ended up having to kind of re-adhere this all together. So I do recommend like the Be Creative tape in this situation. Just save yourself some time, okay? Just trust me on this one. So I went ahead and adhered my little mermaid to the front of the card, and I'm stamping the Let's Celebrate sentiment onto my scrap piece of Nina here, and I'm going to die cut that using the vertical hearts in a row banner. Sent that through my die cut machine, and then I just added a couple of strips of gold cardstock to either side of this just to give it a little more shimmer and shine. And I also stamped and die cut some of those shells from the Mermaid for Each Other stamp set as well, and I colored those. Now, because this is going onto that slick plastic surface, I am going to adhere it onto this using some Be Creative tape because that's going to give me a firm, quick hold onto the shaker pouch here. And then I took my entire card front and adhered it to my card base using some foam adhesive. And you can see my adorable shaker window there with those really cool water effects that I created with the alcohol inks and the foil. Now, on the inside of the card, I stamped a sentiment from the Biddy Birthday Messages stamp set in some VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink. And then I added some more sequins to the front of the card and added some glossy accents to my mermaid's little inner tube there and also to her sunglasses. And I just love the way that these alcohol inks really create a really cool pool water effect. And I thought it was perfect for this card. I also really love how that gold foil effect is in there, and this would be really cool with a silver foil as well, or even like a holographic foil. I think that would add a whole lot to this card, but if you know me at all, you know my favorite color is gold, so I'm going to find a way to bring gold into any card that I can. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for something in particular. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here for the My Favorite Things YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the fabulous card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again for stopping by and watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. Here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.